Hi everyone! So, as promised, I wanted to do a video on my most recent CPD course, Explain Pain, which was a 2-day online course recommended by one of my clients who is a physio. And this was one of the best courses that I have been on in terms of the knowledge that I've gained, but mostly because of the practical application to my clients and my treatments. So, the first thing about pain is that your pain is absolutely real. We need pain. It is absolutely necessary for us to function, for us to adapt as a species, and it is real. However, everybody experiences pain differently, and there are so many things that influence pain, and it is very contextual and adaptable. Now, the way that I like to think about pain, I like a few metaphors to describe this. So, some people's pain can be like a car alarm or a sensor light. So we've all been there where a spider flipping crawls in our car and sets off that alarm for no reason at all. Or that outdoor sensor light, a cat goes past or some leaves just blow and it sets off that alarm. And it gets our heart going, we're thinking, who's out there? And when we actually look, there's nothing wrong at all. And that sensitivity has been dialed up too much. And that is exactly like how our pain can behave. And so many factors influence that sensitivity. So we have the power to dial up and dial down the pain. And as I said, so many things influence our pain. And again, I'm going to use another metaphor that I personally really like. So let's say you get a paper cut on your hand. You're thinking, right, I can't quite see where it is. It's often very fine, isn't it? But it really, really hurts. Okay, so then if you were to put some alcohol gel on your hands, you know exactly where that paper cut is and it kills. And that is like a lifestyle factor that can affect your pain, which I'll go into later. And then let's say another lifestyle factor which can influence your pain is like a drop of lemon juice on that same paper cut. Again, that's going to aggravate that and it's going to make it feel like it's a lot more painful. When actually the damage is neither here nor there. And that brings me on to the next point, which was when I did a poll on my Instagram about what pain means to you. Most of my clients relate pain to tissue damage, and actually the two are actually poorly related. So yes, it can be correlating to tissue damage, but it's actually poorly related. So people were saying things like, what does pain mean to you? Something's wrong, something's damaged, something doesn't agree with my body. And then I asked people what they did when they had pain, and some people said just deal with it, and when it gets too bad go and see someone about it. Some people said immediately go and see the doctor, take pills, medication, which makes sense because we live in a medicalized society where, you know, it's advertised on the TV, these new pills or the new procedures or surgeries that can, you know, they're just ready for us to take or to undergo. And actually, self-management is not promoted at all, which as a sports massage therapist is so important. You know, if you come to one of my treatments, I can only see you for 1 hour, but actually, what are you doing with the other hours in your life? What sort of environment are you going back to? So now I'm going to talk about the different factors that can dial up or dial down the sensitivity of your pain. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the social factors. So if you've got back pain, like me, I've had back pain for about 5 years or so, from having not enough range in my upper spine and too much range in my lower spine as an athlete. Do you talk about your pain all the time? Are you talking about it with people who are quite negative? Do you talk about it when nobody's asked? Are you constantly reminding yourself that you have pain? So this is a really important factor, because let's say, for example, you come for one of my treatments and I'm really, really negative towards you. I'm saying, oh, okay, my Kelbo it's digging in. I'm actually damaging your tissue here. You're actually going to feel a lot worse. It's pretty bad, isn't it? You will walk out of that door and you'll feel awful about yourself. And another thing relating to this is, I want you to think about your left bicep. So all of a sudden, all of your attention is focusing on that left bicep. And now I want you to focus on your right earlobe. Now, what this is demonstrating is that mind-body connection is very strong, and something that you weren't aware of initially, you're now very aware of. And another example of this mind-body connection is if you pretend that you're biting into a lemon, you start salivating, your sort of face sort of starts to tense up a little bit, which shows how strong that mind-body connection is. And if you are constantly talking about your pain in a negative way, be it in the past, the present, or the way you look at your future with your pain, this can have an effect on the way that you experience your pain. The second thing I want to talk about is your environment. So what is the home life like? What is the work life like? Do people annoy you? Are you surrounding yourself with people who are quite negative and like dementors and sucking the atmosphere out of the workplace? Who are you surrounding yourself with? And also, what are your lifestyle factors like? What's your sleep like? What's your water intake, your nutrition, alcohol, smoking? Are you exercising? All these environmental factors can again dial up or dial down your experience of pain. Another thing that is really interesting is when you actually see different things in your body. For example, if people have had an MRI scan and they see this and that and people are pointing out things, all of a sudden that pain can be worse. And what's really interesting is I think we can learn a lot from children. And children, when they fall down, they look straight up to their carer or the parents to see if they're upset or, stressing about what's just happened. And if you show that panic-stricken face, that child is going to cry. And let's think about if you were to have a blister when you walk in. You walk in, you're kind of aware it's there, and then you take your boot off, you have a look at it, you see how red it is and how messy it is, and all of a sudden it hurts loads. So, for example, if you are constantly looking at the MRI scan or looking at the redness, then that can often dial up that experience of pain, which is why we have all this research on different colours. People in red rooms, people in green rooms. Red is often associated with sort of anger and danger, whereas green is often associated with the safety, which leads me nicely into one of the take-homes that I really want you to think about. So on the course, we talked about DIMS and SIMS. So DIMS are danger in me, and SIMS are safety in me. And we completed this thing called the protectometer, and we looked at the DIMS and SIMS. So a DIM for me would be, the things that you hear, you touch, you think, your environment, as I've said before. So a DIM for me would be car alarms or notifications on loud on my phone. That to me, it sets my heart rate going a little bit, sort of puts me on edge, which is why I have all my notifications off completely. And a sim for me would be going walking in the mountains. I know that just presses the reset button for me. Another sim would be being with Felix, my cat. Or I really like soft blankets. That's a sim for me. I like candlelight. Things like that. And I really want you to have a think about the things that you perceive to be threatening almost. Things that cause the flight or fight reaction from you. And also think about the things that make you feel good, things that you really enjoy, or people that you really enjoy being around. Other lifestyle factors like exercise. And being aware of those things can really help you to identify the environments that may marry up to where you feel most of your pain. So with all these factors that I've talked about, I hope that's raised a little bit of awareness as to your pain being dialed up or dialed down, and you may start to notice the connections of when you tend to feel your pain the most. And the brain always has the power to change and adapt, which is called neuroplasticity. You know, it doesn't just stop at 18. You can always change and adapt. And this could be your neural pathways, your behaviour, and you have the power to self-manage. And sometimes you need a little bit of help from a practitioner, or sometimes you just need a little nudge in the right direction to identify the dims and sims that could be contributing to your pain. So the take homes from this, I hope I've sort of broadened your knowledge a little bit of how pain can manifest, and to also promote a few more sims. Be good to yourself. Do more things that make you feel good. And finally, you have the power to manage and to improve your pain in the future. And feel free to message me if you've watched this video to the end. Thank you very much for watching. And I'm happy to go through some of the dims and the sims. Or if you want to book an appointment in, then please just let me know. So I hope you enjoyed this pain video, and have a great day, and message me if you have any questions.